SummerSlam Night 1. I can tell you right now, if it wasn't for the ending that put over Femi, this would have been a completely disappointing, total trash of a show. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest here. Yes, there were a few matches that were alright. Other than the match for Brock and Femi. That's the truth. If there was no Hell in a Cell match, if you just saw the show for what it was, 5 matches, this was garbage. It was garbage. The majority of the matches could have been put on Raw. Because that's what, if I remember correctly, all the people there were all just from Raw, except for maybe a few for SmackDown, which was which was for the Heavyweight Championship, and Gunther and Aldis. Everything else was Raw. That's what it was. And I'm telling you right here, right now, because Raw has not been good at all. If there was no Hell in a Cell, this would be shit. Garbage. Disappointing. I can say with what we got, it's better, but it's not great. And this is, I don't care what anybody else thinks. This show was okay, but it's not SummerSlam quality. This is what boggles my mind. There are many people out there that's going to think that this was an incredibly great show. And it wasn't. We had 6 matches where only thing that was necessary for the other matches to make it okay. Not great. Not fun completely. Just okay. Was the Hell in a Cell, Cody and Punk, and Gunther and Aldis. Everything else could have been on a Raw. What is that? How? Let's make this very clear. Throughout the show, they had snippets. They had still images of all the other SummerSlams well before this one. The ones from the 80s, the ones from the 90s, the one from the mid-2000s to 2010s. Let's make it very clear. I would have more than been happy to see the majority of those SummerSlams than this. If there was no Aldis, if there was no Punk and Cody, and if there was no Femi and Brock. And the only reason that I'm not saying this was an incredible show showing what happened with Femi and Brock was only due to the fact it was meant to do one thing. Get Femi over is a new big thing. That's it. It wasn't that the match was bad because they had a good match, and I'll get to it in a minute. But it's about legacy and passing of the torch. That's all we got. We got one passing of the torch, one return of somebody, and one good match from someone who has not wrestled in 3 years and finally got his moment that he had been waiting his entire life, especially when it came to the British Bulldog, and I'm talking about Nick Aldis, the British Bulldog with Bret Hart in the 90s when he was a kid, almost a full-grown freaking adult. And I'm like, I'm really, a part of me wants to say I'm totally disappointed in this show. Night 1 of SummerSlam shouldn't be this, but it is. Let's get into it. But first thing, we had about 30 ads. If my numbers are correct. I could be off by at least 2. It could be 32 ads, or it could be 28 ads. But we got a huge amount of ads, where we got ads for the next show. We had ads for Triple Mania. We had ads for WWE trying to get this stuff ready. We had ads during the show. We had the General show up. There were so many ads. And I know you're going to say, dude, we've been getting this for years. But it's not the point. It's the point it needs to be pointed out. We mustn't forget what we get. We get ads the majority of the time. And who says we have to stop talking about getting ads the majority of the time? Focusing on the damn ring and looking at the names of people who probably gave money to WWE just to get their names shown on screen. We got in the ring names printed onto the I forgot what they call it, the canopy. I believe, what is it called, the canopy? I think it's called a canopy. I'm blanking. But we see names being flashed, and they're probably people who gave money so they can actually get the names shown on screen. And I'm like, what the fuck? And then we get advertising for MMA or boxing. I think it's MMA. It's just... And then during the show itself, when the theme songs for people coming out, they got ads too. Let's go to the 6-man tag first. I'm not going to Lib and EO first. Let's do them. Usos with Jacob Fatu, with Solo, Royce Keys, and LA Knight, who got the biggest freaking pop of the entire group. I am shocked that Solo Sikoa got a little bit of pop. I know he's turned face to a certain extent because his tree has now been disbanded. The other two are gone. But he at least got a little bit of pop. But LA Knight is the biggest pop there. And understand this. A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, you used to get the Samoan werewolf, Jacob Fatu, the biggest pop, no matter if he was heel or face. People made noise for him. Nothing. And he came out in a mask. And they're all dancing around like they used to with his music. If you remember how the Usos used to come out and do their tribal dance, what do we get? We get them doing not solo, with Jacob Fatu. You see him getting angry. You know what pissed me? We got an advertisement when the Usos were supposed to come out. We got the advertisement for Gears of War on Easy. If that was, I believe that's what it's called. Gears of War on Easy. Really? You're telling me the first, not the first match, but you're literally doing this, that you have Gears of War, and they're not even wearing any type of thing. Like, look what happened when it came to, when they had the last pay-per-view. No, not the last one, Redemption, the one before that. And you had Swerve Strickland coming out as Vegeta. No, was it Vegeta? I think it was Vegeta he came out as. Because the last time he came out as Black Panther, and I think he came out as Vegeta the last time. Here, there were no themes. Nothing. They wore nothing to make them like Gears of War. Nothing. They just came out because they had the Gears of War mixed in with it, and that was just trash. Let's make this clear. Solo asked for help from Keys and LA because he wanted to end the bloodline, which is not going to end. And in this situation, Solo didn't get the pin. It was LA Knight on Jay that got the damn pin. And I'm like, was it Jay? Or was it... No. Was it Jay? I believe it was Jay who ate it. I don't think it was Jacob. It was Jay who ate the pin, the BFT, to the face. Straight to the face, he ate it, and LA got the pin. But now I'm thinking, this is me. What is LA getting? What is LA getting? LA Knight, who for so long people love. He wins the U.S. title and gets nowhere. He loses the title. He's been facing the bloodline for so long. And what does he gain? He's in a holding pattern. Like, they don't want to do anything with him. They just want to use him to get pops. And people are still cheering for him. If I was LA, I'm being honest here. The former Eli Drake, the boy I talked about for years. No one believed in him. No one cared. Until he hit NXT, and then they said, I don't think this guy's going to work. I don't think it, but it took them very short amount of time, and that's JD and Alex to realize this boy was great, and I knew he was great. But now, after showing how great he is, they're not willing to push him. I'm hoping I'm wrong, and they will eventually push him by the end of the year. I don't see him being pushed. To be honest, I want him to leave WWE. I'd rather see him go back to TNA or go to AEW at this point. Because what are they doing with a guy that legitimately is doing nothing? He made a fuss that he wasn't doing anything, and he deserved better. And when they finally gave it to him, He didn't last very long and he had to lose it. Moving on. Now we're going to Liv and Io. The opening of the show. We have not seen Liv Morgan defend that title since WrestleMania. 4 months. She has not done any matches to defend her title until now. Now, normally, that's not a bad thing if you do something with them during this time. Let's make it very clear. There's nothing wrong with having your champion, whether it's a man or woman, not defend the title every week on a damn show. But here's the problem. Where's the story? Where's the story for Liv Morgan? They just made her not do anything. Yeah, she had matches, but no real story behind her. Generally being almost a co-leader of the Judgment Day with Dom, and she's done nothing. And now we get an Io Sky, who I do like. And she didn't do a bad match. Neither one of them did a 100% bad match. I didn't really have a problem with the match. Was it a bit predictable the way they were running in the ring? Yeah, a little bit. It's very choreographed these days. And it's so obvious when they're waiting for everyone to do the spot. And instead of just moving to let it go when it goes wrong, they just want to keep doing the spot. If they can't get it, if they make a mistake, they have to keep doing the spot instead of moving on and improvising like they used to. Which showed that it was organic. They don't want to do that anymore. Either they're told, don't go to another spot. Just do your spot that has been arranged. They don't do that anymore. So it feels so rehearsed. But then this is what gets me. I'm not against Io. She did lose the match. She did. She got 2 oblivions from a little bit of... let's first say Raquel comes out. And Roxanne comes out. Tries to help, of course. 2 oblivions done. And eventually she wins. But I'm going to be honest here. Did I really want to see Io in that match? No. Who would I would like to see? Julia? Kiana James? Hell, the one I've been talking about and now JD is talking about more than a few times. Jordynne Grace. And if anybody says, well, they already said they had no plans for her, so she's sitting back. Bullshit. Garbage. The only reason they didn't do it because no one wanted to write for it. I don't care if it was Triple H who didn't want to write for it. I don't care if it was Bruce Pritchard who didn't want to write for it. I don't care whatever part of the creative team. Or, as I've always stated, anytime Ari wants something changed or not to be done, he just has to tell his daughter who's a part of creative. If you haven't forgotten, and even JD said this a while ago, Ari Emanuel's daughter is part of creative. Ari's daughter is a part of creative. The CEO currently of Endeavor Group Holdings, who is not the owner of Endeavor, the owner of TKO, or the owner of WWE or UFC. He doesn't own nothing. He gave up his shares. He got bought out. Can tell his daughter, hey, tell them I really don't want this woman to win. Not saying they do this all the time, and I want to make this clear. Crystal clear. This is not about them doing it all the time. But they have the option to do it. No matter what anyone says, whether JD says it, Alex, Solomonster, if the CEO has his daughter in creative, which unless she finally left, as far as I know she has not, he can tell her to say, hey, make sure she's not there right now. Not saying they're doing it all the time. It's maybe 5% of the time they could do that. 95% they won't. So I'm saying this, that anytime anyone could say, don't do it. And they just didn't want to do it with her when they could have done this. We could have had Liv Morgan versus Jordynne Grace. Liv Morgan versus Kiana James. Liv Morgan versus Julia. And instead of Julia jobbing out to Lash Legend on Friday Night SmackDown. You could have built these women up to feel important. And we get nothing. Moving on. The match that I was very interested in. Nick Aldis versus Gunther. Let's make this very clear. And I have to say this. If you have not noticed, and you guys tell me below if you haven't noticed this yet. Because even though I don't watch Raw or SmackDown all the time, I rarely watch it. I watch clips on and off. And if there's a point where I truly feel like it's important to talk about something I saw, I may go back and look at the entire thing before and after it happens. And maybe we'll make a video. It's very rare for me to do it because, honestly, I have not been interested in Raw or SmackDown. That's all I do is NXT. But let's make this very clear. Michael Cole. Haven't you noticed that Michael has been botching a lot lately? He's been getting things mixed up. He said when Nick came out that he was a 2-time NWE heavyweight champion. Let me say that again. If you didn't hear me. Michael Cole, which was given permission to allow to say NWA, said NWE. On top of that, throughout the night, he kept botching who was in the ring. And yes, he realized and he corrected it. But this isn't the first time I've seen him do like this. In the last year or so, I'm not saying there's something seriously wrong with him mentally. I'm not. But I'm going to be honest here. If you look at the track record of Michael Cole, when was the last time you seen him take a vacation? Honestly, I don't remember the last time he took a vacation, just took a break from pro wrestling. Because as far as I know, I think the last time he took one was about 6 or 7 years ago. He has been on the go consistently. I'm going to be honest right now. I'm saying this right now. Michael Cole needs a couple of months off away from wrestling. I'm being honest here. It's not about him making recordings for Raw or making recordings for SmackDown, whatever, if they were doing pre-tapes or anything. I'm not saying they do that. They do live. And then he does the pay-per-views whenever he's supposed to. But I'm being honest here. Michael's been messing up lately. If you haven't noticed for the last at least 6 months, every time when he does a pay-per-view or if he does Raw, he has been botching his words. And you could see that Wade is trying his best to compensate for when he messes up. But lately, he's been messing up. And I truly believe that he has been on the go for so damn long that he needs a break. He needs to make a request and just say, I need a few months off. I need it. I've been messing up on the mic a lot. And even if they say not that much, I want him to just take a break. He has been on the go easily from the last time I think he took off was at least a couple, easily more than 2 years ago. Easily. During the pandemic, he was still working, I think. I think the last time he took a break was in 2019, 2020. If I'm wrong, fine, tell me. Was it, 2020, 2021 or 22 when he took his last break? Took a couple of weeks or a month off just to take a break? He needs one. He's botching too much. This is not about he's losing his mental faculties. This is just when someone has been going constantly on the go, going to Raw, doing the pay-per-views, going to Raw, looking over his scripts, working on either if he's still working on the website for WWE because he used to do it. I don't know if he does that now. Constantly on the go, busy. They mess up. That shows they've been overworked, needs a break. Now, when you see Nick and you see Gunther, 3 years, I'm about to say 4, 3 years, he has not been in the ring. Now, we know he was probably working to get himself in good shape, but ring is ring. If you've not been in the ring consistently, you're going to look botchy, and he did not look botchy. He looked very sharp. Did he have a few moments where he looked a little hesitant? Yeah. That's understandable. You haven't been in the ring for 3 straight years. You've been GM. There's no way he's not going to at least look hesitant. in some of his moves. And I got to say, the person that really made that segment was not Michael Cole. It was Wade, because he knew Nick for years. He wrestled Nick when they first started out together. He wrestled him. So hearing him say, I wrestled, my first matches I ever had was with Nick. So hearing that, and I kind of wish he'd elaborate more, and that counts if Nick Aldis is going to go back into the ring more often. I'm hoping it will be more about Wade Barrett talking about Nick than Michael Cole or anyone else, because it feels like it should be him talking more about Nick, because he knows him the best, because he wrestled him. He'd been around him. He probably was on the road with him. So even though he didn't really elaborate heavily about it, he made it very clear he knows Nick. And the way the match went, hearing Wade talk, hearing Wade say the way he's moving, when you have ring rust, it's very difficult. You got to do, and look at him. He's making sure that he's doing his tight moves. He's staying as sharp as possible. But you wonder if he is going to get tanked. He didn't say this directly, but you wonder because you can get tired very easily, because if you're not been in the ring often. Those are the things he talked about, and I did enjoy it. But did I like knowing Gunther tapped his ass out? No. I was not happy that Gunther tapped him out. But it was necessary. I'm not saying that he's finished with wrestling. I think Nick Aldis, if he goes back to being GM, sooner or later, he will go back in the ring again. Or maybe this might be the first of multiple matches he's going to be back in the ring. I'm hoping for that. But I was not disappointed in this match at all. I was very happy with this match. The former Magnus was still a great wrestler. I always liked Magnus when I was able to see him before he left TNA. And then when he went to NWA, not NWE, he was great there with Camille. He was great with Camille there between 2018, 2019, and just before the coof, as they used to call it, the pandemic happened. Now, next thing I want to say, we got a couple of people that was, we had a couple of people that was at the arena. We had X-Pac, which is not too surprising. We had Jimmy Hart, not bad. We had Mark Henry, and the entire crew of Busted Open Radio. Now, if you've seen my gum goodness, I did talk about how I felt about WWE, and they promoted it. They said WWE Radio now has acquired Busted Open Radio. So for me personally, seeing everyone there, Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, Dave, and everyone else, I don't trust them. I'm sorry. They may be going to be honest still for at least a good amount of time. But I do not trust Dave LaGreca, Bully Ray, Tommy Dreamer, and I forgot the other guy's name. I've seen him before. But I don't trust any of them to stay honest for long. There is no way that management from WWE is going to let them just do what they do and stay honest. There's just no way. It's just not going to happen. It's not. If they say something the company's not going to like, it's not even talking about Paul Levesque that's going to tell them. Guess who's going to tell them? Nick Khan, The Rock, Ari Emanuel. Or, above Ari, are the shareholders of, guess who? Silver Lake. That can tell Ari, we just heard that the radio program that's supposed to be for one of the acquisitions you have, the WWE, has been talking, and we don't like how they're talking. Tell them to stop. There's no way they won't filter that down. And sooner or later, they're going to have to choose. And that's any one of them. David Greca, Bully Ray, Tommy, Mark Henry, whenever he's going to show up on there, Nick, Nimitz. Now, we know Thunder Rosa isn't there. But the point is, sooner or later, they're going to have to make a call. Either going to say, no. And they say, if you don't do, you lose your job. And say, I lose my job. And they walk away. Or they're going to eat it. and say exactly what they want, which is favorable things for the company. It's going to happen. I'm not saying they're snakes. I'm just saying that right now, they may not be acting like it, but it's going to come. And I just don't trust them. Even if they're still being honest now, I'd rather just cut them off right now and not feel like I can trust them, because there's just no way they're going to stay honest for long. Either they're going to leave it, bust it open, or they're going to accept what they've been told and not talk negative about the company. Moving on. Anything else I'm missing here? Said that. Okay. Next match, which, oh my gosh, this could have been on Raw. 6-woman tag. Fatal Influence versus Brie, Paige, and the returning Nikki Bella. I'm sorry. Look, do I love Paige? Hell yes, I do. Do I care about Fatal Influence? JC James? I still love JC James. I still love Fallon Henley. I still love Ren. But I'm going to be honest here. As much as I love the Fatal Influence, this match was not good. I'm sorry. It just wasn't. Because out of all 6 women, only 4 out of the 6 looked good. And I'm going to be honest here. The 2 that weren't is the 2 you know who they are. Nikki and Brie just did not look good. Paige looked fine. Saraya looked perfectly alright. And I'm going to call her Saraya for this point because of what happened at the end. But let's make this very clear. Out of all 6 women, the ones that seemed to have the most difficult time in that match trying to keep up with the other talent was Brie and Nikki. Brie tried, and I want to make this very clear. I'm not bashing either one. I'm not bashing Brie and Nikki because I hate them. I'm not. Brie did a nice backflip. She did do some good moves in there, but it does show not her age, but her skill level. Because when you look at Fatal Influence and Saraya, both the one that's on their team and the other team, they have a different style compared to what they do. Because they're more of the older style that used to be in the 2010s. And yes, I will give it to Brie that she did a backflip and did try to do more moves than she normally would. But you can tell that the style that she's using, which is still her old original style, is not fast enough to keep up with them. And you can watch all the women from Fatal Influence had to slow down legitimately for Brie and particularly Nikki, who just got back into the ring after being injured. I'm not even angry at Nikki because Nikki just came back from a knee injury. She's a bit slow. That's going to be normal. But her style, which she does do a more physical, strong style, trying to be similar to a power wrestler, a little bit. She's not a power wrestler. She's not built like Jordynne Grace, who is a former power wrestler and a power lifter. Well, not former power lifter. Well, I can't say she's a former. We don't even see Jordynne Grace. We don't even know what Jordynne is. So saying that she's a former power wrestler, I can say that because we haven't seen her. We have not seen her for months. Not because it's injured, because, as someone told me, creative doesn't have anything for her. Bullshit. Again, they could have done it because they needed to, and they chose not to. They chose not to. Not because they didn't have it. It's because they didn't want to do it. But anyway, Jordynne Grace is a power wrestler. She was a power lifter. She still has that strength, even though her strength has been cut back heavily since she tried to make herself really muscled. But the point is that when it comes to Nikki, she's semi-power wrestler. She wants to do more physical, but she's not. She still has a very similar style to her sister, even though she's more stronger, and now her sister's tried to be more faster and more agile. Both of them have tried 2 different directions. Nikki's more power, and Brie's more agile with a little more speed. But both of them have the same issue. The styles they're using, the older style that was similar to the Divas wrestling style, just is not fast enough to keep up with these women. They don't keep up with them. And you saw Fallon had to literally stay in one spot at one point, waiting for her, even though she wasn't injured or stunned. JC and Ren did the same thing. They had to wait for them to get into their spots. But when they had to deal with Paige, Paige wasn't having that same problem because Paige does not wrestle their style. She wrestles a European style, which is mostly the same as what Fatal Influence uses. A faster, more aggressive style. Not more powerful, but more aggressive. And that's how they work. So at the end of it, you saw that it was Paige who got the pin by JC. JC did that rolling elbow right straight to the face. That had to hurt a little bit. But when it was over, something just went a snap in my head. So when is she gonna nail her? Because before even saw the attitude on Nikki's face, I could see when Nikki helped her up and gave the hug, even before she gave the look in the face. When is she gonna nail her? Because it's obvious they're gonna do it. Because there's no way Nikki and Brie are gonna stay face. And I was right. Nikki destroyed Paige. Saraya. She destroyed her. She nailed her, got rid of her, and then when she crawled out of the ring, along with her sister who's still holding her neck, she says, "No one can take my spot." There you go. We now have Nikki turned heel. Brie is just going to follow her sister Nikki, and now Saraya, I know I could say Paige, but Saraya is the one who's the odd woman out. Now the question is, who's going to team up with Saraya? I'm hoping Jordynne Grace. Give her something to do. But there's no guarantee we'll get that. Moving on. Okay. Cody Rhodes versus CM Punk. This was the second match. I'm being honest here, and I'm going to make it clear. Was this match good? Yes, it was good. But, almost forgot. I believe I got the shot of it. It's my face. Cody wearing a mask that looks like Guile. The hair Guile. They advertise, again, like with the Usos and with Jacob, where they did Gears of War Early Day, or what is it, New Day or Early Day? You have Cody advertising his movie, Street Fighter, and I will say this, I'm going to be honest. Does Cody look like Guile? Yeah, he looks somewhat like Guile, particularly his hair was like that. As a blonde, he did look like Guile. I'm not going to lie about that. Is the movie going to be good? I have no damn idea. They tried this once a long time ago. That's what Jean-Claude Van Damme, when he was Guile. I don't know if it'll work. Cody does look like Guile, so at least they got the right person to looks the part. Do I think it's going to work? I don't know. But Cody comes out advertising for Street Fighter in October. But was this a good match? It wasn't a bad match. It was not. I was all right with it. And at the end, next to Cody losing his arm and Punk getting hurt in the ankle or leg, and Cody's arm getting messed up, the match went pretty uneventful. It wasn't something that was surprising. They did try to make it interesting, but it's not surprising. And Cody did not get his match. Well, let me give it like this. I think the reason I botched is because of Randy Orton. Randy coming back and taking care of Cody. Not surprised. They had some history, and he takes out Cody. Flat out, and that helps Punk to win. What does this mean now? We got Cody going against a Randall Keith Orton. Okay. New blood injected into Cody. And, more better, Cody is not champion. That makes me more happy than anything, because not saying that Cody's boring. I know everyone else says it. I'm not going there. This is not about if he's boring or not. This is about the writing for everyone that would have to work with Cody. And that is the part that's boring to me. Remember, it's not just about the person who has the title that's written to win or lose. It's about the person they work with. And for more than a few times, Cody's writing was fine, but the person they wrote to work with Cody sucked. Other than Sammy, his story was very good. So he looked good. But all the other people that he worked with Cody just was not interesting, which made it boring. That's where the problem is. Not saying Cody doesn't do a great job. Sometimes his promos or his matches can suck. But it's about the writing for both people. It's not just about Cody. It's got to be both having good stories together. And right now, we don't know what Randy's story is going to be like. Hopefully it's going to be good because they're going to write Cody to be at least strong to a certain extent and Randy to be what Randy's going to be. He's the apex predator again. At least that's what it looks like. The question is going to be, will it be good or not? Finally, we have the Hell in the Cell. A good match that put over Femi. I don't need to describe it. Gotta watch it. But I will say, Oba got, 3 or 4? 3 F5s, and he got about 9 to about maybe, 9 or 10 suplexes. He got them. He got hit not only with suplexes and F5, he got hit with chair shots, and he got hit with the steel steps while they're in that cage. Was it a great match? It was okay. It was alright. But it wasn't about the match quality itself. It was about Brock putting over Oba. And when Brock decided to rip up the mat, expose the wood, and do a tombstone pile driver on Oba, and Oba kicked out of that mess, that is when you could say, he's over now. People went insane for Oba the moment he kicked out of that tombstone that Brock decided to do. Just like what happened with him and The Undertaker, he tried to somewhat replicate it with Oba Femi. And in the end, guess what? Oba wins. They pull up the cage. Brock walks away, doesn't take off his boots or anything. But then, after Oba was in the ring for a little bit, Brock comes back. He jumps back into the ring. He puts his hand up to shake, but then he hugs Oba, which he looks surprised. And I don't think he expected him to hug him. But then he asks for a mic, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, Oba Femi." He says, "Don't go anywhere. Don't go anywhere, boy. Stay where you are." He holds his arm up and says clearly, "This is the past. This is the future. Oba is the future of pro wrestling." Holds his arm up again, smacks him on the leg or in the ass or something, and then walks away. And then leaves it for Oba to finish, and the show was closed out. This is what was needed for this show. It was not just about Oba getting a good match out of Brock. It was about Brock putting him over. Did he go over the top by saying what he said? Yes. But did he need it? Yes. If everybody remembers correctly, when the Undertaker streak was finally broken, many people believe Brock did not need it. They kind of wished it was like an Oba Femi to get that moment instead of a Brock Lesnar who was already established, who was already over heavily. Here, Brock did what they should have did years ago with Brock when he was dealing with Undertaker. It shouldn't have been Brock who had that match with Taker. It should have been someone like an Oba Femi that could have had that moment. Now, who could have gotten that moment? At that time, there were very few people you could think that could get that moment. I could think of a few. One, Cesaro could have gotten that moment. Because he had the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But they never really did anything with him. And for decades, he was so over. People loved him. Sheamus could have had that moment. Yes, Sheamus had already been established for a while, but he never had a single moment with The Undertaker. Not like that. Before his death, Wade Barrett. Wade, who easily embodies what The Undertaker is like. That type of attitude. He could have been put over if the timing had been right. I truly believe that. Do I believe that Daniel Bryan could have been done? No. I don't think he would have needed it. He could have gotten it, but I don't think he needed it. But the match I think everybody wanted so badly, that could have been fine. And even though his legacy's already been cemented, would have been great. Sting could have had a match with The Undertaker and could have won that match. And yes, Sting's already had his own legacy. But who would have thought that Sting and Taker were in the ring at the same time? Guys who've known each other for years. They've known each other. They were paired together at one point. They actually worked together at one point. Finally came together at WrestleMania. And finally had a match where instead of Brock, you had Taker and Sting. And yes, Sting is an icon just like Taker is. They both earned their accolades. But Sting has never had a WrestleMania. And it would have made him so great if he had had that moment. But this is me. Honestly, was this a good show? Passable. And I know you're going to say, dude, we had 6 matches. You're telling me that what happened with Femi and Brock, Cody and Punk, and Aldis and Gunther doesn't mean it's a great show? No. Because you had 3 other matches that should have never been on the damn show. The first match, Liv and Io, should have never happened. Could have done it. Excuse me. Could have done it on Raw. You could have easily done the 6-man tag on Raw as well. And then the women's 6-man tag, which was horrendously bad. I'm telling you, you could see how much everyone had to hold back to try and let Brie and Nikki keep up with them. I understand Nikki. She just came back from a problem with her knee and had to have knee surgery. She had to come back. She's a bit slow. But their styles just didn't work with Fatal Influence. And Paige is the only one that kept up with them. And half the show could have been on Raw. The other half was good. Yes. But not great. Here's the thing. There was only one great match in there. For me. Now, I know it's going to be hell in itself for everybody else because of how important it was. And it was the second most important match to me personally because it was handing up the torch. As a memorable moment that was needed, that's number one. But as a story that felt like it could be done, and remember, they didn't book this very well before this match. What did they do at one time when they were in the damn cage and not do anything? Not touch one another? That fucked up everything. But I'm telling you right now, guess what? It was only Gunther, and all this was the main event for me. Because of how long it been for him not to be in the ring. And to have his first moment, and he shared it with Donovan and his wife, Mickey. Mickey James was there with his son, Donovan. When it was over, even though he lost, they came in, gave him a big hug, big kiss. That was his moment. He wished for so many years, his dream. He just got it. Whether he's going to have more matches, I don't know if Nick will. That might be his only match ever again. Or he could be the first of many that should be on the main roster. Don't know. But that was the greatest moment for me personally. But when you see Femi and Brock, it was not about the moment of it being incredibly special. It was about passing him the torch. That moment is different compared to this, where a childhood dream had been fulfilled, having to deal with someone who was a dick in Gunther, compared to Brock putting over Femi and making him the next big thing. That's what that was for. And it's different. So for me, all this in Gunther, Brock and Femi, and CM Punk and Cody. That's it. This was not a great show. It was passable. Not great. But it's just me. Have a good day. Have a good night. Don't do this often. Peace, and leave a comment. And maybe, I don't like doing it much, but leave a like. Now, hopefully the algorithm will see me and say, oh, you actually got people liking you. We'll let you be seen a little bit. Peace.